Good morning, Krusty Crew. What's poppin', chat? How we doing? It's your boy. Don't mind the blanket. That's Titan's Zuckle blanket. Anytime Titan wants to nap and he's napping on my keyboard, I pick him up and I put him on Zuckle blanket. And no. Get. I was just talking good about you. I just had good things to say. Come on. Man, you're wild. Kenny Jimbo. Ow! Ow! Stop! What's your deal? I just started. You haven't done this the whole day. I've played with you for an hour, buddy. I'm going to pick you up very nicely. Ow. I'm going to put you on Zuckle blanket. You're going to sit there and be nice. No. Ow, that's my thumb. No. Stop. Ow, stop. Buddy, stop. Ow. What's your problem? I don't understand. Quit. Stop. Be nice. No, be nice. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Trey's Trades, where we talk fast and hide from cats. I like to preface by saying that I'm not a financial advisor nor expert, so please take what I say with a grain of salt. Let's get into the live stream. No, it's episode 136. Presently, the SPY is down. The dollar is up. AMC and GameStop flipping back and forth with relative strength. Always walking away? Are you bored? No, you're good. Leave. You're good. Okay. Whew. That'll have to do. He's coming back, but I'm just going to watch him. What's up, Skywalker, Yakim, Vince, Jakob? If anybody has a link, I'm looking for this. I wanted to watch this. I hopped on early today for two reasons. Number one, Uncle Mike is going to be here at 3:30 Eastern. I got to pick him up from the airport. Keith, thank you for the 4 months. I do appreciate that. Number two, the reason I'm on early is because of this meeting, this economic outlook speech taking place today at 11 a.m. Eastern. I've looked it up, checked YouTube, checked Governor Waller live. Nothing's really popping up. This episode has elements of danger and fear. And we need a good plot, right? So I've looked it up. Governor Waller live. Governor Waller's speech. Fed live. Nothing's popping up. Live birds. Is that what I'm looking for? Am I looking for live birds? Is that going to get us where we need to go? I don't know. It's a good question. If anybody's got themselves a Mick coffee this morning, I'm with you. You guys would actually be proud to know that I've laid back on the energy drinks. I haven't had one in about a week. I've been drinking iced coffee instead. It's been good. Live birds, yeah. That's the secret sauce. If anybody finds a link, let me know, because I'd definitely like to watch this speech from Governor Waller today. It is supposed to start literally right now. Hey, Trey, sorry I haven't been in the Twitch. Oh, I don't care, Johnny. You don't have to apologize to me, man. When you're there, you're there. And when you're not, man, life got to go on, right? You just, I hope you're enjoying your day. That's what's important to me. Yeah, it's supposed to be at 11. I don't see literally a fucking thing. Governor Waller live. Maybe it's on Fox or something. Is it on Fox maybe? Or no, they probably go to CNBC. I feel like the Fed... No, the Fed wouldn't talk on Fox or CNBC. There's no way. Economic Outlook Live. I mean, we know the economy is basically as worthless as it comes right now, but damn, I'd still like to know. Maybe Bloomberg's got it? Oh, no, this is literally just fucking... Bruh! These guys have 2,300 fucking live viewers, and it's literally just a picture of a... You can get this on your broker. Oh, never mind. That makes more sense. CNBC did a summary? So it was on CNBC. Let's just look at his remarks. Fuck it, not gonna catch it. That's as of 18 hours ago, 6 days ago, 7 days ago. Today's the 14th. That does line up. I mean, this is supposed to be happening. We're literally right now, 11 a.m. Eastern. Just want to say thanks for... Oh, of course, man. Of course. Of course, of course. Yeah, I'm not seeing this fucking anywhere. Definitely spelled that wrong. I never spell governor right. Does anybody have like a word that just trips them up every single time? I never spell governor right. It never fails. It never fails. Oh, you bit my arm pretty good. Is this just like cap or something? This is feeling like it's cap. Like, is this just cap or what? Because it feels like cap. I'm the governor now. Yeah, sure thing. Sure thing. Well, I guess I'm just gonna... Well, actually, there is one last saving grace. If Twitter loads. Did anybody else see that Twitter was down today? Because I did. There was about 6 million tweets. Quite a few. Governor Waller. With the CPI data in hand, I support another 75 basis point increase in July. However, my base case for July depends on incoming data. If that data come in materially stronger than expected, it would make me lean towards a larger hike. Says he's open to larger rate hike this month than in June. Ooh, 100 BPS. Chris Waller, a Fed governor who has given good policy signals recently, still wants a 0.75 percentage point move in July, but he leaves 1 percentage point on the table. We have important data releases on retail sales and housing coming in before the July meeting. There we go. Wait, this is it? It wasn't a live speech. Why wouldn't they say that? This isn't a speech. How is this a speech? Bruh. That's an essay. Speech. It says speech. 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 I gotta tell you guys a story quick. Once upon a time when Trey was a kid, his parents made him read for a half hour a day, every single day. From probably about 7 years old until I graduated high school. And because of that, two things happened. One, I became able to read decently well. Two, I hate reading. I'd rather watch a fucking video, but that's all right. We're gonna comb through this and see what happened. Lay off the caffeine. Actually, this is my first little bit of caffeine. Check it out. Just barely cracked into this. Well, I suppose you can't see with that tiny ass camera angle. There you go. Barely cracked into it. This is my first drink of the day. Probably what it is, to be honest. Yesterday, I was live streaming on Twitch, as we do every evening. And I decided for my stream what I was going to do was play chess. And every game of chess that I lost, I had to spin a wheel that was created by chat, and it's known as sort of like the punishment wheel. And if I was to pull it up right now, you guys will be able to see a lot of what was on there. Retweet Sal the meme lord, burn my hat, review McDonald's, make a video about blah, 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 blah. Well, one of the things that I landed on was eat 2 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts. And I tried. I think I could have maybe done it if they were all just the plain glaze, but they had like the Bavarian cream filled, they had jelly filled, they had strawberry frosted, chocolate frosted, all this stuff. And I got through 2 glazed, 8 of the Bavarian cream and jelly filled donuts and 2 other donuts, and I tapped. I couldn't do more than a dozen. I thought I was gonna yak. And after that, dude, I felt like I was sitting there and my hands were like a freaking vibrator, dude. It was nuts. It's like sitting in one of those nice cozy AMC chairs and they've got the freaking vibrator button and the heater button. That's what my hands were doing. They were like shaking. I don't think I've ever had that much sugar. And the weirdest thing about that many donuts, man, is I felt full, don't get me wrong, but the problem for me was the taste. It was all the sugar. The sugar freaking crushed me, but nonetheless, we'll look through this. We're gonna look through this speech. Now that there's not really a time press for getting into this, let's just start off by getting into stonks and see what's happening right now. Guys, welcome to Trey's Trades. It's great to freaking have you here. Today is sort of a very quick stream. Not the usual time frame, I understand that, and that's obviously reflecting a little bit. You guys probably didn't even know I was going to be here. But here we are nonetheless. We're going to talk about a couple key things that are happening right now in the market. We're going to talk about the SPY. We're going to talk about AMC, GameStop, the Qs. DXY is actually pretty interesting. And I have to show you guys where that's kind of sitting because I do think that's playing a factor in the overall broad market right now. SPY down about 1.43%. AMC and GameStop looking particularly strong. And we'll get into that as well. AMC up about 0.73% compared to the SPY, which is very strong, and then 6% for GameStop. And this is about as clutch clean of a breakout as you can possibly get. You don't have much distance left until GameStop approaches this holy grail trend line. Previously, it was about a 12.8% gap that you needed to fill to come up and test this this holy grail line. It is obviously less now. So what I'm going to do is show you guys. We're just going to adjust this a hair so you can see how much distance we actually have to cover, and it's really only about a 7% gain from where we presently stand. We have to go up about $10.20 on GameStop to literally get to the trend line that has been unbreakable since January of 2021. It's been a very long time in the making. RSI right now is cooked up to about 71.23 on the 1-hour chart. You look at this on the 4-hour chart, it's just as high. You look at this on the 5-minute chart, it's just as high. And this is a pretty monstrous move up. And really, if there's going to be any room for hesitation or choppiness or rejection or retracement or whatever, it's likely going to be about here. This is some form of a supply zone. Supply is the opposite of demand. It means that you could expect maybe some form of selling pressure to ensue. If it's going to happen, I think it would be about here at that 152-esque mark. So about $1.50 away. We're about $1.50 away from where, you know, you might start running into some choppiness and hesitation on on GameStop. But we do look solid. We do look good. It's a beautiful freaking day. And let's start off with the SPY. Hope you guys are all chilling. Drop some gorillas in the chat. I'm going to take a sip of my McCoffee here really quick, my McIced coffee, and we're going to get into the day. Trey, you should accept your offer at Citadel. The Fed is done giving your stocks pumps. Hey, Fed man, Jay Powell. All right, listen. I will disrespectfully decline because I already work for our Lord and Savior Gary Gensler. Praise be his name. The bald one. He's like Yoda, except not green. All right, let's start off here with the SPY. SPY on, we're going to look at this on the 1 hour time frame and just kind of peek at what's happening right now. The SPY has a falling level of resistance right here. I always look for at least 3 touch points to signify a respective level of support or resistance. And right now, it is in a very small micro downtrend amongst the very macro large downtrend. And what you're looking for is a couple different spots where you could maybe potentially get a move back up. We've got some work to do along the way. There is a chance that you see a gap fill to close up this gap from the morning. So be watching for this. This is an opportunity. You could watch this gap fill depending on strength. An intraday within the SPY. Let's look at this on the 5-minute. You're getting a beautiful V-shaped recovery. You got an immediate push down, and this kind of coincided with what I would imagine is DXY, which is the dollar index, showing really a pretty massive push. I mean, it was up 1% on the dollar, which is where we were earlier in the day, is pretty fucking crazy, to be honest. And now even still, it's up 0.73%. You can see as the dollar pulling down, the SPY basically did the exact opposite and is pushing up, which is about what you would expect. So off of this, this demand zone that held up nice yesterday, didn't quite do the same today, and now is acting as supply. So what you're waiting on to really see whether or not the SPY is going to get a push back up is if it can push through this now supply zone, which was previously demand, break through that, and then you'd likely get a gap fill. There's probably 2 scenarios that I see playing out. Touches the top of this supply zone, pushes down. Second scenario is it touches the top of the supply zone, retraces, and then gap fills. And these are sort of the 2 things that I'd be watching for intraday. And if you're looking at the best case scenario after the gap fill, you're looking for a retest of this overall downtrend. Tap, 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 tap. You get that overall break up from that falling trend line. You look pretty decent. Let's go. Make coffee break. Oh, man. I got to tell you, this is one of the things I look forward to every single day now. McDonald's has really good iced coffee. Now, I know McDonald's gets pooped on a lot. Trust me, all right? I'm a Mc kid myself, and I recognize how mediocre the food can be, but the McDonald's coffees, it's money. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, McLovin' it. It reminded me of my McLovin presentation. Anyways, next let's get into GameStop. GameStop right now, immensely strong. I mean, god dang, even from the last 5 minutes that I've been sort of sipping on my coffee and going over the SPY and going over what's happening with the dollar and the broad market and how the economy's looking, GameStop is just continuously pushed. It's up to 6.8%, the volume on the day. This is the most significant piece of information, right? Whenever you're watching for strength on a breakout, strength on a move, the number one indicator to tell you whether or not you're going to get juked out or it's legitimate is the volume. And what you're watching on volume for GameStop over the previous 4 days is just ramp. It's pushing up and up and up and up and up. And that is a beautiful sign. And probably the best thing that I've seen is this piece right here. These candles line up with the most volume on the day. The most green was the actual legitimate true breakout on GameStop. That signifies a lot of strength, and this is actually very impressive to see. Now, what you're watching right now is a tap at the very top of what I consider to be momentum / supply. This red and white box right here that I just labeled comes from this trading day. It appears to be about 8 June 2022. And rejecting off of that is pretty common, right? the rejection itself isn't necessarily bad, especially when you look at the RSI and see that it's pretty cooked. You look at this on the 5-minute, the hour, the 4-hour, all of them are showing the same thing. It's just been clapping cheeks, mowing grass, and fucking pounding some hedgy ass. I mean, it's been gnarly. And to see those cool offs just allows time for the stock to take a breath, smell the roses, enjoy the journey, and you can have the opportunity to come back up. So now what you're looking at is a few different things. We're going to draw up these trend lines and show you them again and just expand them out a little bit because we already do have them established on the chart, right? First off is here. Tap, 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 right? This is the first overall spot. You didn't end up getting the pullback right here, so we're going to get rid of this line as that is obviously insignificant. We prepared you for both scenarios. The bullish scenario ended up happening, which is good, right? Get rid of this as well. So you have this trend line, and now you also have a break over this trend line. Got to bounce off of that, which is actually pretty solid. When you get a breakout from a previous resistance, a test as support shows a lot of strength in buyers, which is what you got. So you have that support line, and you also have a newfound rising support line because the GameStop has separated that far away from gravity. I mean, this is what's the word, huh? I'm thinking of a specific word. Is it Munsun? Muntun? I don't know. What am I trying to say here? The best way to put it is that GameStop is walking away from gravity, right? It really is. This is a nice chart. I'm not trying to inflate this. I'm not trying to make this cooler than it is. GameStop's chart is just really sexy. This is beautiful. This is a lot of strength. The volume is there. It's incredibly beautiful. And if you can break over this Holy Grail line, which is only about 7% away from where we are currently trading, you have a lot of upside and a lot of opportunity, which is pretty nice to see, right? So that's where GameStop's at. You know, best case scenario, would come up and you test this, that mark, which is at about $161 or so. Worst case scenario, reject off of this supply zone, which I just labeled on the chart right here. It's exactly where it tapped. I mean, I was a couple cents short. 152.36. I think it touched like 150, 190. So I was off by like 30 cents, but nonetheless, that's where you're at. You also have this flat top, but higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher highs, higher highs. This is what you're looking for, right? Higher low, higher low, higher low. Just continue that trend and you're looking pretty good overall. Excuse me, slipped out. Sorry about that. Next, AMC. We're going to look at the... Oh, baby, it's coming up real close to that. Up about 1.39% on the day. Not quite as green as GameStop. It's a nice chart. Don't get me wrong. A lot of work left to do. What you're looking at right now is a really solid, let's back it up. Let's look at this on the 1 hour because it's easy to forget. And I actually saw this online, right? I saw this online when I tweeted out both charts for AMC and GameStop, and I'd like to talk about it. I saw online that it was me being a spoil sport and me spreading FUD by saying that AMC's got more work to do than GameStop. And I want to make this iteration because it is important. AMC's chart looks good, right? It really does look good. There's just more work to be done. It's not me blanket statementing sort of what's happening. It's not me trying to spread fear, doubt, blah, 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 because we do look good. I mean, if you look at this chart, we've been in a trend now, a bull trend, sort of challenging the downtrend since 11 May 2022 is when we found our local bottom at about $10 or so, right? The difference is the Holy Grail trend line. That's really it, right? The intraday trend line, the Holy Grail trend line is just closer for GameStop than it is for AMC. But we do look fantastic, and I want to make that clear, right? This is a good chart. You shouldn't be sad. You shouldn't be disappointed in the strength that AMC's got right now and the way that this stock is moving and the direction that it's heading, because chunks, right? Ladder. You take one peg up at a time and you slowly get to where you got to go. And that's sort of what AMC is doing right now, right? So what you're looking at, we're going to come back to this 15-minute chart and show you kind of what I'm seeing is this very small downtrend, 3 days, 3-day downtrend, right? Tap, false breakout, tap. And once you break this falling resistance line, you're coming back up to retest this blue momentum. And it is doing it right now. It's attempting to break out of this presently. Could end up rejecting, but what you're looking for to validate whether this is a true breakout is a big ramp up in volume as it pushes. So if you see this push up and a huge bar of green volume comes to follow after that, well, you have a pretty good idea of what's kind of happening right here. Who the hell is sad that AMC is going up green when SPY is amber hurting? Mike, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I think that's a pretty fair. This is nice. All right. Listen, guys, we gotta maybe we should just do a little bit of reflection. Should we kind of browse over what's happening across the world right now? Doop, doop. Banks are getting fucking slapped. Oh no, bad earnings. Bad times for banks. Everything's getting crushed, you know? And it's not even just on the short term. Look at the daily. Look at fucking Morgan Stanley. That is death. That looks awful. JP Morgan. Oh no. Oh boy. Oh no. That's a limp dong. That's a limp dong if I've ever seen it, guys. That's gnarly. Yeah, JP Morgan looks bad. But everything's dying, all right? So the relative strength that you are seeing right now out of AMC and GameStop, this is incredible considering the current condition of the market. This is nice. I mean, look at this. Look at where the SPY has been, right? And comparatively, every time the SPY has gotten a little bit of a rally, AMC has gotten a bigger push overall comparatively. While the SPY is still setting lower lows, the SPY or AMC is setting higher lows, and that's good. Do a shoey? A shoey? I haven't done one of those since Vegas. Don't spam that in chat, though, John. I mean, I could. Do you guys want to hear the story about the first and only time? Well, actually, I've done a shoey another time. But the first time I did a shoey, it was in Vegas, and I was in Vegas with my buddy Marcus from college. His name's Marcus. Drop Marcus in the chat. He actually watches it sometimes. I don't know if you're in the live stream, buddy, but great times in freaking Vegas. And me and him were just kind of bouncing around. I don't know how long we were there, maybe 3 or 4 days. 21 or 22 years old at that time, maybe a junior or senior in college, something like that. And I'd never heard of a shoey, but we were hanging out, and what you do in Vegas is quite simple. When you're not sitting at a table or something, you're walking around the streets, and you're going to different clubs and bars and rooftops, and you're trying to meet people and just have fun and do what Vegas does. You know, it's Sin City, whatever. And we met a couple people, a couple dudes and a couple girls that were from Australia, and their accents were freaking baller, great accents. And one of them came up to me and said, "Say, Trey, will you do a shoey with me?" I don't know how you fucking say that with an Australian accent, but I said, "What's a shoey?" And she said, "Oh, you've never done a shoey. I gotta get you to do a shoey." And she takes off her shoe and hands it to me and says, "Put your drink in there, you drink out of it." And I said, "What the fuck you guys do in Australia? What are you guys doing in Australia? You know, drinking out of your shoe. That's insane to me." But I did it anyways, and it tasted like feet, and it wasn't. I can say I've done it. I can say I've done it. Puts on my accent for sure. That was awful. I apologize. Terrible accent. What? How Crikey, it's a shoey. Crikey, mate, I got a shoey for you. But anyways, this is a breakout. If the volume follows through on this looks pretty damn clean. Kind of low. I'd like higher volume, but that is significantly higher than this overall falling resistance line. The only thing that sketches me out about that push is the volume is low. I'd like to see higher overall volume, but that has broken out. Regardless, there's a higher overall chance that this is a juke move without the volume to back it. Higher overall chance of a juke move, but it did break out. Presently, for AMC, you've got rising support and a rising resistance. Looks something like this. Here's the best case scenario to me. If you get that, that's pretty solid. Because this is a rising wedge on falling volume. Typically on falling volume, rising wedges, you do get pullbacks. And I just like to see it transition from resistance to support, push back up. Maybe we don't get that. Maybe I'm dumb. Maybe I'm exactly backwards wrong. But to me, that's the best case scenario for AMC right now. That volume bar, though, that's legit. That's what I wanted to see. All right, this is good. That's beautiful. I spoke fucking 5 seconds too early. I was waiting on this volume. We didn't get it, and now we did. Damn, what a nasty bar of volume. Woo! 14,000. That's pretty gross. Yeesh. Buyers stepping in for sure. AMC up 2.31% on the day. GameStop up presently 5.58, rejecting off of that supply zone that we marked here just a little bit ago. I swear it was like 2 or 3 minutes before it hit it. 152.50 to 154.10, 154.90-ish. SPY presently still still right on the day, right about 1.3%. Here's the optionality. We drew this out right when I hopped onto the SPY chart. 2 different ways I can see this going. Either A, it's going to tap the top of this box, which is supply, and reject and come back down, or it's going to tap it, break above, come back down and retest and push up. That's the 2 things that I'm personally watching for. You've got a rising support line, but intraday, if you're looking for a trade, just connect dots, right? Once you see lines that are connected by dots break, you can typically look at those as potential entry points, have a plan, exit plan, entry plan, exit plan, all those different things, and you'll be cooking okay. That volume bar almost looks like the Kermit the Frog's bone. yeah. Nah, it looks like the Hulk's dick, dude. I wonder how big. No, I'm kidding. Chemistry, bro. It's good to see you, man. Have we missed you in Twitch the last couple days? Oh, that turned into a red volume bar. Now that's not the Hulk's anymore. Who's big and red? No shoey? You want a shoey that bad? My shoes smell awful, man. I can't imagine they taste good. It's not my birthday, Justin Frozen Peas, but it is Matt Coor's birthday. So if you'd like to wish him a happy birthday, you certainly can. I'm pretty sure he's live right now. I don't know if he still is or not, but if you want to stop in his stream and show him some love because it is his birthday, hop on over there. I know. Some of you guys don't like Matt, whatever, but it's his birthday, man. You know, whether you do or you don't, it doesn't matter. It feels good to have people wish you a happy birthday. So he's in here right now. You can fucking stop in and wish him a happy birthday.
When it comes to Thanksgiving, he always brings pecan pie.
Yeah, I am on early, Junito. My Uncle Mike's coming into town at 3:30 today.
And I am not going to waste room in my stomach on a pecan pie when there's apple pie and pumpkin pie. So I'm a little biased against that.
Where were we? All right, so there's the rejection on the top of the rising wedge. Looking for this. SPY still following the same trading channel. Coors P's sitting down. All right, let's be honest. All right, every single one of you fucking men out there that exist have peed sitting down. No guy alive has not peed sitting down. Everybody's peed sitting down. Everybody's peed sitting down. Guess what? When I'm taking a shit, I'm not going to pinch off my pee while I'm pooping. I'm just going to pee sitting down. It happens. And plus, when you're peeing, it gives you an excuse to, I don't know, play Angry Birds or something. prefer to pee sitting down? Yeah. No, it doesn't matter to me. I prefer efficiency. Typically, wow, this is fucked up. You guys want to know something bad? I'm a degen, man. I live a fucking life. Listen, there's not a lot of people out there that I think would want to live the Trey lifestyle, I'm telling you. Because I really, first off, I want to tell you, I don't do much, all right? Outside of when I'm streaming and making videos, I'm usually just playing video games at my computer or in bed. That's really about it. I don't do much else. But what I'm getting to is this. When I was at my apartment, my kitchen was also my studio. So my desk would be in my dining room, and behind me would be the kitchen itself. Hold on one sec. I gotta take this. Hey, what's up, Ryan? All right, let's keep going. Anywho, spy, this is what you're looking at. This is where we're at for the spy right now. Can I show Mullen? Yeah, I could pop it up in a little bit. Spy's got a decision to make right now. Does it want to exit this supply zone and push up for the gap fill, or does it want to push back down for some more lower lows? Watch these patterns. Right now, you're in a consolidation pattern. Even though it is moving up, right? This is a movement decision pattern. When it's respecting lines like this and you have a defined pattern, you're waiting to decide which way it's likely going to move. And that's what I'd be watching for personally. Let me come back. Oh, I missed one. Shit, my bad. Let me come back down. Can short squeeze still happen this year, even with cat system pushed back till 2024? Yes. DJ Trump, yes. I want to make this clear. There's a lot of people who think that the cat system is necessary for a squeeze, right? The cat system is not necessary, right? So if I had a way to describe it and sort of draw it out, this is what I would say. And then after I answer this, I'm probably going to start digging through that Governor Waller speech. I'd like to read up on that a little bit. But it's like this, right? There's always a probability of something. For example, when you sit down and you're doing like sports betting, right? You have odds. The odds go in both direction, plus, minus, whatever. And you've got your opportunity to, to see what your odds are of making that bet. Well, you can always improve your probability. You can make better bets. And to apply that to the stock market in some sort of way, let's say that right now, according to XYZ factors, you have odds of XYZ, right? You've got cat system delayed. And it's not even the cat system. It's a fucking adjustment to the cat system, right? I went over meat and potato concept, not intricate details. So cat system, you could say short interest is high, utilization's high, TA setup is nice, right? There's a whole bunch of things you can say, fundamental news, blah, 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 blah. You go down the list, there's a whole bunch of factors that increase or decrease the odds, right? It's an odds game. Sure, you'd have better odds if there wasn't spoofing. You get rid of spoofing, you fucking crack down on some of these guys, you've got improved odds. Let's say that single stock ETFs don't exist, right? This increases your odds. If all of a sudden you have a leveraged single stock ETF for AMC, whether it's inverse or it's regular, right? This is going to decrease odds, IMO. I want you guys to wonder, right? Tesla is the first one to get a single stock leveraged ETF. How do you think that Elon Musk feels about that, given his history with the company and given the history of Tesla getting targeted by shorts? I'd imagine he's not very happy about it. Why? Because it gives shorts even bigger opportunity to target the company amongst some insane market volatility. That is a game of odds. So don't let this cat system delay deter you, right? Obviously, if you can fix market problems, you increase your odds. But it doesn't mean this can't happen, right? We had to run up to $72 without the adjustments that the cat system's trying to make. If that gives you any inclination. Things are different now. We're in a bear market versus a bull market. So it's a different scenario, different setup. You want better odds, right? But it's still possible. Personally, myself, what I'm waiting on is a really nice rally to give Amy the juice it needs to cover a very large distance, right? If we look at this on the daily, I'll show you the gap that it needs to close. It's about 87% to get to this holy grail line, about $26. Very doable, right? It just needs some juice, needs some catalyst. Maybe it's Q2 earnings. Maybe it's a massive SPY rally. Maybe it's GameStop running based on the stock splivited, whatever you want to call it, news. It could be, in fact, a bunch of different things, but nonetheless, that's what you're watching for. Presently, another thing that I find interesting is this divergence. Ooh, interesting divergence. We'll see if that plays out. It hasn't quite hit that $35 yet, so there is some time still, but it is a trend. You do want to see it break this line. That's what it's sitting on right now. It's just barely hovering that sucker. Apple, Tesla, Amazon are not manipulated the same. I would argue that there's a pretty decent amount of manipulation within all three of those stocks, though. I would. Waller live on Bloomberg Radio. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Arigato gozaimashita. I appreciate that. My guy.
Workers and your output goes down. That just makes me think, I mean, these people have negative productivity. They're making the existing workers worse. This can't be the case. So it's got to be something about the measurement of how they do this. And that's why we do revisions in the data over time. We get a flash estimate and then we collect more info over time. Then we say, well, maybe that wasn't the right number. That's the problem we have in policy. We have to make policy on real-time data. We don't get to wait 6 months to 12 months for the final revised numbers to come in. So I'm just, based on the labor market, I just don't see how, like I said, it just is inconceivable to have a recession with an unemployment rate of 3.6%.
So this has come up in conversations I've had with a number of people over the last couple of days, that Americans, according to the surveys that you watch, are extremely pessimistic about the economy, and by some measures is the lowest feeling ever. And the newspapers keep reporting, we're contracting in the economy, et cetera. Can we talk ourselves into recession?
Yeah, I mean, back to your CEO comment, I think a lot of it is analysts are trying to get ahead of the next.
I'm looking up unemployment rates according to time frame.
And they start talking their book. And then that chatter starts making its way into corporate America and households. So it is kind of funny when you look at this household surveys, jobs are plentiful. You want a job, you can get one.
To me, it looks like a lagging indicator. 2008,
a lot of cushion in your
lagging.
bank accounts tells you
picks up over time.
I'm in pretty good shape.
See this?
But inflation is just destroying people's attitudes. They're watching their real wages go down. Like you said, you
This
go to
happened
the gas
overnight.
pump,
COVID
you watch
different.
your bank account
But I
empty
think
into your
these
car.
rates are going to go up. I think
That's
they
no
will.
fun.
I think it's
I have
lagging.
the same problem as everybody else doing it.
Give it a year.
So that's really it. I think that the negativeness is just the inflation, which we haven't seen in 40 years, is making people very pessimistic. And I'm fully sympathetic to it. I want to get it down.
You brought up a good point about Wall Street. Originally, Wall Street analysts were convinced Fed is way behind the curve. You got to raise rates a lot. And then it was the Fed is going to raise rates a lot. And so we're going to go into recession. So we should have sell everything. And then they were convinced that you'd have to start cutting rates. And then we're back to this week. You got to go really hard, up 100 basis points. How much attention do you pay to what's going on both in the talk and in the market activities that happen on Wall Street?
Well, the talk matters to me in the sense that talk
while they're
gets
blowing smoke
priced
is
into
apparently
interest
bullish.
rates and other things that I care about in the financial markets. If I start seeing that, those
AMC
interest
did
rates start
exactly what I
impacting
hoped.
the real economy.
That's beautiful.
So in that sense,
Best
I
case
do care
scenario.
about what they say.
Best
But
case
in terms
scenario
of
right
predicting
there.
recessions,
Breaks down
this
from
is-
rising
this is a
wedge,
very hard
taps the
game.
line,
You're trying to
pushes.
predict a turning point.
Exactly
in the
what we
economy. And
wanted.
anybody that does this for a living
GameStop,
knows
beautiful.
you always blow
High or
that
low.
point, right? Everybody predicts a recession after the fact. Very few actually get it right going forward. So,
Thumbs
and
ups
same
in the
with
chat, man.
expansions. So, I mean, people are thinking, we have to have a recession. I just
We're
don't
in
see
a
it.
recession.
I don't see why that has to be the case.
We're in a
Recessions
recession.
don't necessarily automatically follow from these things. And
We're
with
in a
this
recession.
great labor market, the labor market would have to deteriorate incredibly fast to really, in my view, throw us into a recession.
Do you think there'll be, if you ended up going 100 basis points, do you think the markets are prepared for that? Or will we see a big sell-off, everybody's shocked because the Fed's decided the economy is so bad?
Well, I think the markets may have gotten ahead of themselves a little bit yesterday, that they just assumed it was going to go to 100 after that report. Market pricing has a probability of 100 basis point hike, I think around 70% this morning. I think that's kind of getting ahead of
Chad,
themselves.
do you think we get a 75 or 100 basis point hike?
Like I said, we knew this was not going to be a good number. This was not a surprise, and 75 was my base case. And it kind of just confirmed it. So I looked at the CPI as it took what I had as a probability of 0.9 and made it 1. So that's what the CPI did for me yesterday. To go above that, I got to see a little more data the next 2 weeks. And, we just got this yesterday. And we don't want to make snap policy decisions based on some knee-jerk reaction to what happened in the CPI report. We want to be able to
2022
sit,
has been
talk to
terrible.
each other, talk this through, and then in 2 weeks,
Typically,
make
April's
what
a
we
good
think is
month.
the right group decision.
And
We have a
November.
question from the audience that is also on my list.
You've been listening to a conversation between Bloomberg's Mike McKee and Fed Governor Chris Waller. If you'd like to continue to follow that panel, you can do so, of course, on your Bloomberg terminal. Fairly straightforward, live go. Downplaying 100, downplaying a recession, but watching the data. That seems to be the message. This is Bloomberg.
Well, I guess that's as much as we're going to get. Governor Waller believes we cannot be in a recession because of how strong the labor markets are. What do you guys think? Are we in a recession? Does the economic pain feel like a recession to you? Inconceivable. That's such a strong word. Inconceivable? No. Maybe improbable, you could maybe say as an argument, but I can't fathom that. I'm gonna use that word. I'm yoink and twisting, man. Did I spell that right? Inconceivable. It is inconceivable to be in a recession because of how strong the labor markets are. What do you guys think? Are we in a recession? Does the economic pain feel like a recession to you? To me, I mean, let me tell you, okay? I don't drive a gas vehicle, but when I moved to North Carolina and I was packing up my U-Haul and I was filling it up and I made my journey across the states to get over to North Carolina, right? There's a couple things that caught my eye. Number one, food is drastically more expensive, right? If I wanted to stop at a gas station and get a freaking a chili cheese glizzy, right, and smack that thing down on my U-Haul, that costs probably an extra $1 from what it used to. 70 cents, 80 cents, $1, somewhere around there. It's a significant difference, right? Gas, forget it. It cost me almost $1,500 to drive for a day, you know? Holy freaking piss. I mean, it's a lot of money. Things are drastically different. Gas probably being the biggest inclination, which has dropped in price, right? Gas has gone down, but there's so many other factors. Like, I know how many people in chat have seen those spreadsheets of the homework that people have done, basically showing that prices have gone up across a variety of different things, such as food, coffee, gasoline, you could say energy, you could say housing costs. Everything. Basic expenses of living seem to be worse than even being projected. To me, it feels like we're in a recession. And to me, the labor market feels like a lagging indicator. In 2008, when everything happened, labor was fine, right? The unemployment rate was not great. It was 5%. But over the next year from 2008, things got progressively worse. It feels like a lagging indicator. What do you guys think? Do you think that the labor market unemployment is a lagging indicator, a lagging sort of preface to what is actually happening during a recession? Because that's what it feels like to me. By the way, I might have to pop out here for like 2 minutes in a little bit and take a poop. I think those Krispy Kreme donuts are starting to catch up a little bit. I can feel my stomach rumbling. But to me, it feels like a lagging indicator. That is beautiful. Guys, you couldn't have drawn that up any better. You really couldn't. That is a really picture perfect freaking bounce out of a rising wedge, bounce off of previous resistance, now acting as support, push to the upside. Only thing that I wish we had more of was volume. That volume is really low. I want to see a little more. But outside of that, this looks solid. The volume is the only worrisome thing that I'm seeing right now. GameStop could be a top. You got a very small trend maybe beginning here. 2 touch points. We're looking for a third. Spy's going to push it. Spy's going to do it. It's coming up to do the gap fill. Target would be about here. Look for a price of about $377. Maybe a hair short. 10 cents lower. 10 cents below 370. Or 377, I mean. 10 cents below that. Clear value tax. I'm pretty sure I've seen some of his stuff. Clear value tax. Yep, I've watched this guy. He's actually really, he's straight to the point. Straight to the point. I dig his stuff. There's always something to learn. I'm sub to him. I haven't watched one of his videos in a minute. You can just look back and see all the red bars. I watched the collapse of the U.S. dollar system as inevitable. Federal Reserve will trigger a massive stock market rally and then dump. Those are the 2 videos that I've seen, but he's a smart guy. I enjoy watching him for sure. How long do I think AMC will keep momentum? Until it rejects. Typically, AMC rejects at specific levels, right? So when it rejected in the past, it rejected at a specific level. Bam, level, bam, level, bam, level, bam, level. You're looking at levels. Resistance points, support points. Amy seems to respect very well falling levels. Falling support, falling resistance, falling resistance, falling resistance. So I'm watching those. Right now, you have a couple key momentum levels. You've got one at 1610. You've got another at about 1660. A break over 1660. I think you've got a very large move up to about $20. I know that's a big difference. $20 versus 16. That's a 20% move basically in a day. But if you can break those levels, you look good, right? I think we don't look that bad. There's the potential that this ends up being sort of a rising head and shoulders pattern. I think that's going to depend very heavily on whether or not GameStop and SPY continue their strength. Because, completely honest, right? This AMC is moving in sympathy to GameStop right now. Do I think we're near the market bottom? There's signs, but I want to see a slowdown. We haven't had slowdown yet. They're talking about a 100 basis point hike right now, you know? Talking about a 100 basis point hike and we're at the bottom? I don't think so. No. I don't think we're at the bottom quite yet. We might have hit, let's hypothesize. We may have hit the bottom, right? But we're going to retest it at the very least. And to be frank, if you really want inclination as to belief that the SPY probably has more downside, market has more downside, Kramer said that we hit the bottom, all right? Kramer said, we're bottom. We're at the bottom. We're done, baby. I'm a big bald boy. We're at the bottom. And that should tell you everything you need to know, you know? That should tell you everything you need to know. I do not believe we're at the bottom. Yeah, if SPY, the do or die level for the SPY is 350 to me. So 364, if we break that low, 364 on the SPY, next target for me would be about 350. And that would be full board capitulation. You break down at 350, then I'd be watching about 318. But we got to take levels, right? Right now, it's kind of chopping around, trying to decide where I'd like to go. Here's a big M for mini, mini rally. Man, 4-hour chart. Peaked out at about 390, pushed back down. We'll see, you know? Peaks versus bottoms. That's actually an interesting point. I'm actually curious. I wonder if there's a way that I can do that. See, I'm not very good with coding and stuff, but let's look back at 2008. 2008 wasn't really an inflationary problem, more so than a banking system problem, as it didn't print off a bunch of money, right? You look back at 2007, 2008, inflation did start to push a little bit. I mean, bailouts happened, so you got a little bit of inflation based on probably a little bit of printing to bail out some of these big bitches, but nonetheless, not near as rampant. But if you look back to 2008, peak inflation hit in July. You started pushing down in August, September, October, November. You got a little bit of deflation actually in 2009. That lasted for about 6 months or so. And let's look back at the chart. So at 5.6% peak in 2008, let's line that up with how that looks for the SPY. We're going to look at this on the daily. Go back to 2008. Here's 2008. And that lines up with, just gonna double check, July of 2008. That was peak inflation. $120, and we went all the way down to $67. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to do it again. But it does mean inflation hadn't peaked, or it did peak, and then it took more time to sort of rally and recover. Still dropped another 44% from there. When did the rally start? We look at this. This is March of 09. If we look at the inflation back in March of 09, it's when deflation happened, actually. Believe it or not. Deflation ended in October. So if we come to October of that time period, 09, you're on your way. So it appears that deflation for the market, you got a little bit of a push. We won't go to 67. If the SPY goes to 67, your concerns can be far better put into probably just well-being. you're gonna watch the entire universe collapse if the SPY goes to $67. Isn't that something? Just numbers on a screen, candles on a chart can make that big of a difference in our lives. Just some random ass colors being coded with zeros and ones affects everything we do every single day. What's up, live event? Rev short data? I did. There's a difference between Ariana. I don't mean to be a spoil sport, right? It looks good, but you want a technical breakout still. I've seen the Ortex data. I know it's over 100% shorted. I'll pull it up in case you're curious. I have no position in Rev. Make that clear. Rev presently 104% short interest, 5.51 million total shares shorted. Utilization's maxed out. Cost to borrow is nuts. Free float on loan, solid. Short interest, nuts. Short score on this is 80.99. And a lot of this short interest is relatively new. It looks good. It looks primed. It's up 3.37% on the day. I think the catalyst for that to happen needs to be a technical breakout. So if you can break out from here, right? If you can break this falling resistance line and volume follows through, right? You want to see volume pick up as it pushes above. You look beautiful. Rev would look very, very good at that point. I'd be watching that though, right? Rejection here, you probably have some downside. I'd be watching at that point for probably about this fib level. It's the 618 with 443 or so. Probably come back down to there. But if it breaks, Rev looks phenomenal. Phenomenal. Life of a noble man. I appreciate that, man. Hope you guys stop by Matt's stream and wished him a happy birthday. No, I don't think Fox fired Asperino, no. I do not think so. Should we read this speech now? I do, Commanzo. Yes. I think in June, AMC dragged GameStop along with it. I think this time, GameStop is going to drag AMC. If I was gay, I would be really attracted to you. Winning loser? Yeah, Janito. Uncle Mike will be on stream tonight on Twitch. Monetary policy. Let's read through this. I'll zoom in so you guys can follow along as well. This is the monetary policy speech coming from Governor Waller. This happened today. Apparently, he was live on Bloomberg. I don't have Bloomberg terminal, so I can't freaking watch it actually. But Trade chat is sus very often. Thank you, Mike. And thank you to the Global Interdependence Center for the invitation to speak to you today. Let me start at the place that all remarks about U.S. monetary policy should start, which is with the Federal Reserve's dual mandate of maximum employment and price stability. As I discussed below, we have a very strong labor market with an unemployment rate that is below the median of policymakers' expected longer-run level, and high inflation that is far above our target. We are achieving our mandate when it comes to maximum employment. Unemployment rates are decent, but we are far from achieving our goal of stable prices. Consequently, while any monetary policy decision has implications for achieving maximum employment, and I will address those implications in a moment, the FOMC is now and must be utterly focused on moving inflation down toward our 2% target. We must be focused on reducing inflation because, despite a lot of talk about recession lately, the evidence from the labor market indicates that the economy is on track, while inflation continues to be far too high. It must be our focus because high inflation is the biggest challenge to sustaining our employment goal. And the greatest burden for individuals and families, especially lower and moderate income households that dedicate a larger share of their spending to necessities. Inflation has to be our focus every meeting and every day because the spending and pricing decisions people and businesses make every day depend on their expectations of future inflation, which in turn depend on whether they believe the Fed is sufficiently committed to its inflation target. Expectations is a big word here. Depends on their expectation of future inflation. What this is referencing is when big money, businesses, institutions, banks expect inflation to improve, they will start buying, anticipating what will happen to the market eventually. Essentially meaning, if big money believes that inflation is going to start going down, their expectations start to improve, they will load the boat because they're going to anticipate the future of the economy improving. In that way, the market is always trying to predict. Pricing in is always about prediction. It's always about trying to get an idea of what will happen before it happens. Timing, right? You're rewarded for being early and you're rewarded for your conviction, and that is what people try to do. They try to be early. They try to time the bottom. And that's what he's talking about. The market will start to improve when expectation improves. So let me be clear. I'm going to vote to set policy in a manner that will reduce inflation and achieve our price stability goal. And today I will explain why I don't see that progress conflicting with our maximum employment goal. Let me start with my view of the labor market inflation, then turn to the implications for monetary policy and conclude with where I think the economy is headed. GameStop over 150 again? You guys let me know if anything happens. I'm just going to keep reading otherwise. I'm interested in this. It's not my birthday. It's Matt's birthday. Go wish him one. It's not my birthday, though. Over that falling line, looks pretty solid. Back over 150, up 6.37% on the day. AMC right now, flagged out a little bit. You have falling pattern. Take the top wick. Bottom wick. Looks like a flag. We return. It's not my birthday. Literally, it's not. Guys, come on. We've been over this. I'm going to turn freaking 1,500 if every day is my birthday. I didn't actually add up, but nonetheless. A puzzle. Very tight labor market, but declining GDP. As many economists are discussing, recent economic data have created a puzzle. The labor market continues to be very strong, but the real economy appears to be faltering. How might gross domestic product, GDP, fall in the first half of 2022 while the economy created 2.7 million jobs in the same time period? Is the chat stop? It's not my fucking birthday. It's not my birthday. We're trying to talk about important stuff. Look at how important this is. Look at how important this is. Look at this. There's a bunch of words. It's a speech. The guy's got the word governor in front of his name. When donut review? I don't know if I want another donut right now. I have donuts here. Guys, I ate 12 donuts yesterday. My stomach hurts. I don't know about that. Have a birthday donut. All right. I'm taking one bite of a donut, and that's it. I'm definitely not hungry right now. Oh, I'm sore. Last night I slept on my chair. My back. Oh, by the way, you guys like my shirt? It's Big Nuts. All right. Here's your donut review. We have a Krispy Kreme donut. Aesthetically looking. Beautifully soft. Glazed top. No blemishes. Beautiful frosting. Undercarriage. A little bit of chocolate on the rim of the butthole. Frosted on the bottom as well. Now I'm going to be measuring the donut review on a couple key things. Aesthetics. Taste, flavor, fluffiness, Is it stale? Is it creamy? Does it taste good? Mouth feel, stomach feel. Let us begin. You guys all know the rules. One bite. Beautiful. I'm licking my lips to get a little extra flavor. Get the mustache too. It might be a flavor saver. Creamy. Not stale. Fluffy interior. Beautiful exterior. Rompous undercarriage. Great glaze. Beautifully crispy and soft. I give that donut a 7.2 out of 10. Worst ASMR I've ever seen. Now listen, okay? Donnie loves a good donut. This is kind of hurting my stomach because yesterday I had 12 donuts. But nonetheless, Donnie knows a guy who knows a guy who knows guys who know the guys from Five Guys who know the guys from Krispy Kreme donuts. And let me say, I've had lots of donuts. Donuts from Mexico, donuts from China, donuts from the United States, America, baby. And let me say, Krispy Kreme perhaps is the 5th best out of all donuts that Danny has ever eaten. We must make donuts great again. Oh, man. I didn't want that. But it was good. My stomach's gonna hurt now. I've literally had so many donuts in the last 24 hours. It's fucked up. All right. Can we continue now with this very important, boring speech? Every time I rant and read about shit that's boring, typically stocks go up. Don't you guys want stocks to go up? I swear it. I swear it. Every time I'm reading something boring, stocks go up. So we can read this boring shit and then stocks will go up. I think that's fair. Huh? You're gonna shit a pile. I've already been doing that. Yeah. No, not back to happy birthdays. Read it as Patrick Starr. Oh, I can do that. As many economists are discussing, SpongeBob, recent economic data have created a puzzle. The labor market, SpongeBob, continues to be very strong, but the real economy appears to be faltering, Sandy. How might gross domestic product fall in the first half of 2022 while the economy created 2.7 million jobs in the same time period? Is the labor market not as strong as it appears, or is the economy doing better than the data suggests? Hey, some people have good skills in life, all right? Some people know how to do physics. Some people can do chemistry. Me, when I was in high school, I would practice my Patrick impression in geometry class. So that's one of the very few things I can do well. Oh, man. To assess the strength of a labor market, there are numerous indicators of its health, and sometimes they point in different directions. Today isn't one of those times. Based on every major labor market indicator, the labor market is very strong and in historical terms very tight. The timeliest evidence for this strength was the jobs report that came out last Friday for the month of June, which found that the economy created 372,000 jobs. Now, I will admit my vision isn't what it used to be. He's making a blind joke, but I can relate to that. But with revisions to May and April, it is hard to see any slowing in the pace of monthly job creation since February. 398,000 in March, then 368,000, 384,000, and 372,000. In the first half of 2022, the economy has created 2.7 million jobs. One of the big things that I've found politicians and the government do is anytime things are going poorly, they always point out the things that are going well instead. It's like, hey, we know that that we have this bad inflation problem, but let's just talk about jobs. Jobs are good. Look at all these jobs we have. Look at all these jobs that give you a job to do a job. And meanwhile, that job basically doesn't pay for you to fucking live. So the problem still exists. Nonetheless, we continue on. The unemployment rate in June was steady at 3.6%. It is often said that this is close to a half-century low, and that is true. But you really have to go back 69 years, to 1953, to find the unemployment rate more than a couple tenths of a point lower than it was in June. This is about as good a job market as any worker has ever seen. Where's the Lou lamp? Right there, baby. Lou lamp is alive. Loomp. Can't read it like Michael Jackson. I can't do Michael Jackson, though. I can't do Michael Jackson. I can do a pretty decent SpongeBob. I can do a pretty decent Donnie. Those are probably my two best impressions. Mike Tyson. And I'm Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's a badass, man. It's interesting how soft-spoken he is considering how fucking scary the guy is, but nonetheless, we continue on. The June job report is consistent with other labor market indicators. Job vacancies, an indicator I have highlighted in past speeches, are unprecedentedly high, with nearly 2 jobs for every person looking, and that hasn't changed very much this year. Job postings measured by the Labor Department for May and by Indeed for June have fallen a bit in recent months, but are still at historically high levels consistent with a very tight labor market. As a share of the labor force, weekly initial claims for unemployment insurance are near record lows and have been fairly steady all year. Businesses continue to report that jobs are plentiful, and small business owners say that jobs are very hard to fill. Looking more broadly across 24 labor market metrics summarized by the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City, we see that activity is above its pre-pandemic level, and the Atlanta Fed's labor market distribution spider chart shows that the vast majority of labor market indicators are about as tight or tighter than just before the pandemic. The broad range of data showing a very strong labor market indicate that this isn't a mismeasurement issue. Wage compression is a serious problem. Agreed, Chance. They keep going on and on and on and on and on and on and on about the labor market, but the problem is that you can have low unemployment while people still can't fiscally survive, you know? Yeah, sure. Your unemployment rate is 3%, right? Let's just say unemployment right now is whatever they're saying. They're saying that unemployment is 3.6%. Let's say that that's the case. The problem is, at an unemployment rate of 3.6%, those people are still struggling to survive, right? More people are using credit cards. More people have less money in savings. More people are struggling to make ends meet. Everybody in chat right now, I'm curious, do you find your cost of living to be more difficult to manage now than a year prior? And obviously there's differences. If you have yourself increased your cost of living by adding expenses, doesn't count. But if you have the same expenses and now all of a sudden it's tough to make ends meet, well, there you have it. There's your answer. Now, no, yes, extremely. Avio, yes, yup, yes, 100%. Yes, no. 100. There you have it. Unemployment does not, to me at least, imply that we are scotch-free from a recession. It still can very easily happen. Recessions come from economic pain. Update, we're going to come back, right? Here's your chart. Here's what you're looking at. Flag pattern. GameStop. That's a pattern. SPY. Ooh. Watch for a potential head and shoulders. I'm going to extend this out because this is the line it's riding. And we'll come back. I eat shit 100%. Oh, that a boy. I'm proud of you. All right, go EV. Damn. 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 Ooh, damn. Hold up. Let me line this up real nice. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that. This. I want to make sure this lines up. I need a few more touches. Bop. 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 Holy shit. Yeah, this looks good. Myself, R size too hot. Way too much steam. Like, this is a really big move to be trying to catch right now. Really big move. Good news, volume's increasing on the push. So as long as volume increases, you certainly have strength in buyers, but I would not want to be a buyer right here. Up 38% on the day. Wait for a pullback. That's me. If you look at this on the hourly, it just broke above, or is testing, I should say. It's just testing this resistance line. Tested it back here, about to test it again. You could get a push. If it breaks out there, right, you can take it. But here's the thing. If you're chasing this right now, that's all right. You can chase this. But you got to recognize two things. You're late. Your risk is higher. So if you want to play the game with those things being known, that's up to you. But you're late if you're buying now, and your risk is higher. It just has to be an exception that you make. Know that if you play Go EV, those are the lines that I'd personally be watching for. This one seems pretty legitimate. RSI is hot. It's at 79. If you look historically speaking, typically when it taps this line, it tries to reject. So if you get a rejection off of that and a pullback and you think this looks pretty solid, it keeps setting higher lows, that's an entry point for a call if you'd like to test it out, you know? That's personally what I see. Volume looks fantastic. It looks strong. It looks like it could get a pretty nice rip. And if it breaks that resistance line, I don't think there's much distance to close from there to $9. I mean, obviously, you'd have to cross above. You've got a demand zone here, or supply zone, I should say. Supply runs between 613 to 640. So we'll do 610 to 640 is supply. You got another supply at $9, which would basically line up here. So I don't need to draw that out. Gasparino got fired from Fox? No. No way. Let's go! Let's go! That's what I'm talking about! Woo! That's what I'm talking about. That made my whole fucking day. Why did you retweet your own tweet fucking 3 times? Announcing my departure from Fox to embark on the next stage of my career. I'm launching a new think tank, the Polly Walnuts Institute, dedicated to advancing the philosophy of the most beloved character in The Sopranos. His wisdom and wit will live on. This might not be legitimate. He might just be making a joke. Probably is making a joke, but we'll play along. Different from being fired, I'll ask. Were you fired? Damn. Whoever said he got fired, he really got me excited. But we'll find out. Maybe he'll respond, maybe not. Yeah, but that's GoEV. So whoever asked about GoEV, there you have it. We still haven't finished that that article yet. We'll get into that in a little bit here. Those are the levels. Personally, I'd be watching this for a potential rejection, this falling resistance line. If you want to track the dates yourself, the touch points, I'll put circles on them. Here's a tap. This is from 22 December of 2020. There's a tap. Here. 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 And here. All the dates. 22 December 2020. 09 June 2021. 24 September of 21. That's a day after my sister's birthday. 12 January 22. 5 April 22. And then this obviously just recently. So there you go. If you're making money on it, congrats. Update on the SPY, looking at the 5. Still, that's very head and shoulders-esque. That's what I didn't want to see for the SPY. Likely this. Likely getting a push down. Doesn't want to fill the gap. You don't want to fill. You don't want to fill that gap, do you, mistress? SPY, think a decent chance of a breakdown right here. Watch this trend line. Breakdown here, you got a pretty solid opportunity for a pushback down to what is now demand. So we'll change the color of this box back to demand zone. Green. Bada bing, bada boom. Volume, if you see an increase on volume, watch that as well. Volume picks up as it pushes down. You have a pretty good idea of what's happening. GoEV pullback. Probably right on that resistance line, I'd imagine. Pretty much square on the nuts. Yep. Pretty much square on the nuts. Couple cents short. GameStop cooling off a bit right beneath supply zone. AMC. See if it's still respecting that flag pattern. It is still respecting the flag. This is a consolidation price point. Until it breaks above or below one of those lines, that's what you're looking at. What happened to the brothers documentary? It will be coming out soon. Fun fact, I can't share anything, but I have seen it. I've seen it, and I think you guys will be quite happy. It's good. It's very good. It feels like an ape documentary. All right. I'm going to continue on with the speech. The June job report is consistent with other labor market indicators. Job vacancies, an indicator I have highlighted in past speeches, are unprecedentedly high, with nearly 2 jobs for every person looking, and that hasn't changed very much this year. Job postings, measured by the Labor Department for May and by Indeed for June, have fallen a bit in recent months. We already read that. The broad range of data showing a very strong labor market indicate that this isn't a mismeasurement issue. Turning to GDP, there are signs of slowing in economic activity. The Commerce Department estimates that there was a modest contraction in real GDP for the first quarter of the year, and now casting projections of economic activity such as the Atlanta Fed's GDP Now tracker foresee a similar contraction in the second quarter. The Commerce Department estimates that there was a modest contraction in real GDP for the first quarter of the year. Yep. There's also softness in recent spending data, which has been widespread. Softness meaning basically people are spending less, which has been widespread across consumer spending, business investment, housing, and government purchases, as well as some weaker indicators for the manufacturing sector and a deterioration in consumer sentiment, which by some measures are at historically low levels. Some argue that a recession has already started. I think most would say that. Damn you, sex bots! Get out of my chat! Get out of my chat! Yeah! Damn sex bots, dude. They never end. They never end. They never end. I think the biggest forewarning of obviously economic struggle is just banks. I mean, look at JP Morgan and look at JP Morgan today, down 4.27%. I'm pretty sure Morgan Stanley is not doing very well either, down nearly 1%, but this is a bullish triangle. Morgan Stanley actually setting up for a pretty solid opportunity. Let me just get the most recent touch points here. You also have, this is kind of rocky looking. Below, puts, above, calls look good. Watch volume. Volume is fading, which means it's a consolidation pattern. Volume picks up on the push down. You know that you'd likely expect a continuation of the push down. Dude, those sex bots are trying to steal your money. Listen. If you want sex bots, all right, the YouTube comment section is not the place. I'll put you in horny jail. There's also softness in recent spending data, which has been widespread across consumer spending, business investment, housing, and government purchases, as well as some weaker indicators for the manufacturing sector. But I don't see how that squares with the job creation data, the low unemployment rate, and overall strong labor market that I described earlier. In addition to the contrasting evidence in the labor market, there are several other reasons why I'm very cautious about acting on the GDP estimates and on projections of an output slowdown. One is that while first quarter real GDP is now estimated to have shrunk by 1.6%, according to another estimate, real gross domestic income, GDI, increased by 1.8%. GDP and GDI are basically measuring the same activity in different ways. And in the past, when such wide gaps in the two numbers have appeared initially, they tend to move toward each other when the data are finalized. We know that there were some unusual trade-related reasons for the low GDP number in the first quarter that are unlikely to be repeated, and revisions in both GDP and GDI could largely erase that contraction in output. GDI. Okay. I can see how that makes sense. Chance, if you do that, man, just expect them to come to your house and you know, get freaky and get wild. That's all I'm saying. All right. And the data that point to some slowing don't convince me that it will damage the labor market. Measures of manufacturing activity and indicators of future activity, such as the Purchasing Managers Index, have moderated but are still in expansionary territory. Rather than a recession, the softening data seem consistent with the pandemic-related transition underway since last year among consumers from spending on goods to spending on services. And we should expect that as policy tightening feeds through the economy, it will dampen household and business spending decisions. That is the objective of our policy tightening. Past experience has shown that job creation and the unemployment rate are timely indicators of a recession, more timely than quarterly GDP. Job creation and the unemployment rate are timely indicators of a recession. See, the problem that I still have is that it seems like it's a lagging indicator. When 2008's recession happened, and I don't think anybody would argue that 2008 wasn't a recession. I mean, it was, you know. The labor market was solid at the beginning of 2008, but then it got worse. You know? To me, you're just not seeing the pain yet. I think that the pain will come. Lawrence, I'll work on that, my guy, huh? I'll work on that. I'll stop saying up, down, in, out. Up, down, in, out, up, down, in, out, up, down, in, out. Watch them come in flocks now. It's going to be funny. Past experience has shown that job creation and the unemployment rate are timely indicators of recession, more timely, blah, 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 blah. But the factors that are cited, along with the evidence strength across different measures of the labor market, leave me feeling fairly confident that the U.S. economy did not enter a recession in the first half of 2022, and that the economic expansion will continue. I don't know, man. I mean, let's not even break this down from an economic standpoint. Let's just break this down from a common sense standpoint. Can you have 40-year high record inflation without having a recession? You know, like the last time inflation was this high, did they have a recession? Let's not even think that hard about this. The last time inflation was this high, did they have a recession? I would guess that it's probably likely. Now let's talk about inflation. Yesterday's report on the CPI for June, the Consumer Price Index, which is inflation, was a major league disappointment. On a 12-month basis, year over year, total inflation stood at 9.1%, the highest in 40 years. Core, which came down slightly in the last couple months, has averaged over 6% this year and is too high as well. No matter how you look at the data, inflation is far too high, and my job is to move it down toward our 2% target. Maybe in freaking 10 years they will. We know that supply shortages and bottlenecks, including the tight labor market, have contributed to the high inflation readings we are observing. Why don't they ever mention the fact that they printed money and gave it to banks? Why? Just say it. Say it out loud. Like, yes, sure. This is a factor. Is it a core problem? No, it's a factor. The core problem is you gave out billions and trillions of dollars to big banks, big institutions. That is the issue. You gave money back to the fucking fat cows. The cows, man. These guys have been eating so much grass that they can't even lift their fucking legs. That's why we have inflation. You guys printed too much damn money. Why don't they ever talk about that? On a 12-month basis, total inflation, we already read this, blah, 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 blah. We also know that the surge in demand during the pandemic that was driven by excess saving, significant fiscal stimulus, and accommodative monetary policy also has contributed to the high inflation we are now experiencing. There's some research estimating how much of this inflation came from supply problems and how much from high demand. The main point is that both played a large part in driving the inflation that we have seen over the past year. Based on monetary policy, persistently high inflation and the very tight labor market that I described, let's talk about the implications for monetary policy. Monetary policy is referencing how these guys plan on managing inflation and managing the economy. Since March, the FOMC has raised the federal funds rate 3 times for a cumulative 150 basis points. This is the fastest pace of tightening in close to 30 years. At our last meeting, we raised the policy rate by 75 basis points, which is a large move by historical standards. That size increase was not an overreaction to one data point on inflation. It was primarily the response to a sequence of excessively high inflation readings since the beginning of the year. It was appropriate given the lack of progress on inflation and clearly signals the FOMC's commitment to get inflation under control as soon as possible. 75 basis points. I want to see the likelihood of 100. Doesn't really talk much about it. I support another 75 basis point increase. So it seems like 75, but I'd argue that the market's pricing in 100. Seems he is trying to say 100 is unlikely. I don't know, man. It's tough to trust the Fed. It's tough to trust the Fed, excuse me, when they're so flip-floppy. Like, J. Powell said 75 is off the table, and then 4 days later, they were like, yeah, let's do 75 basis point hike. I don't know. Maybe somebody freaking brought him to a room out back and put a gun to his head and said, listen, Joe. All right, listen, you goofball. You have to do what I say, Jerome. You gotta raise rates by 75 basis points, Frank. You gotta do this now, Teddy, or otherwise I'm gonna put this between your freaking your eyes, Sam. All right. It's just too much flip-flop. I just can't do it. I can't believe what they're saying. I don't believe it. There's no way. What's up, Steve? It's good to see you. Hope you're hanging out. SPY broke down. Volume picked up. Bing, bang, boom. That's literally perfect. Couldn't have done that any better. Couldn't have broke down any smoother. Breaks down from rising support, pushes down, volume increases on the push, testing out this demand zone, tries to bounce, doesn't get it, pushes down. I think SPY is going to go on a little bit of a sell-off here. Volume does not look great for buyers. AMC broke down from flag, up 1.16% on the day, retested flag, broke down, looking for this support line. Another bounce off of this is the best case scenario. Worst case scenario is it's going to come back down here to about 1475, where demand is. There is a demand zone down here, which is exactly where Amy bounced. We drew this up, I think, yesterday. We put that demand zone in here. Derives from these points. Here. Demand. And if it can get another bounce, if it breaks down from here, that's what you're looking for. Rev, I think that if you're buying into Rev, you're looking for a breakout. Obviously. Myself personally, your risk is volume is a little low. You want to see it break out above this falling resistance line. Breaks out above this falling resistance line, I think you look really good. Up from $1 to a high of almost 10. And it did that in how many days? Like 7? That's nuts. That's so crazy, dude. I mean, it's there. It's possible, right? You want to see a very similar situation to this. Volume ramp. As it continues to push, the volume continues to rise. That's the best case scenario. I think if it breaks out above this falling resistance line and volume picks up, you look really good. It's trying to, and volume has picked up a little bit on this break. You can see this here. And if the volume continues on this push, you look pretty damn good. That's what I'd watch for. What about Adam Aaron Pounce? I don't know. Guys. I don't know any better than you do. All right? I'm waiting the same. I'm waiting the exact same. August. Earnings. Oh my God, I'm sore. On the wheel yesterday when I was on Twitch was do 100 push-ups and I landed on it and my fucking chest and arms hurt so bad. Oh. You got a fucking massage. I've been watching Trey since he started doing this from a hotel room, talking with a really deep voice. Oh, yeah. You guys remember that? Do you want to cringe for a second? How do you guys feel about taking a quick break to cringe for a second? Because if you want to cringe, I got you.
Today is Veru Incorporated. Now, Veru is a company who is researching alternate treatment methods to prostate and breast cancer. What is interesting about these guys is the CEO has found a alternate to chemotherapy in the form of a pill. Now, the pill...
Things have changed so much, man. That's crazy.
You take it every day.
Yeah, you can't hear me because it's my
chemotherapy,
fucking PlayStation
and
microphone.
The side effects are very minimal and seems to, according to him and his results, give about the same results as chemotherapy would. Now, I'd like to look at Veru as a company.
By the way, this was back when it was at $9, and it did hit 19. It hit 19 after all. Twice, I think. Yeah, it's done it twice now. A couple times. Woo! Woo! How about that? Eventually, I don't know what my first video was where I got a camera, but I'd actually be curious of that. Let me look. Where was my first video with a camera? This one? Nope. This one? This? Nope. This one? Is levels of support and my mic was so... I had way too much gain. I had my gain cranked like this so you could hear everything, every fucking breath I took. That's what it was. Crazy. Man, my thumbnails were so ugly. I mean, if you like to see... I didn't use a camera for a long time.
Through proprietary molten carbon.
Damn.
Not only doing well.
Where the hell did I, Oh, here I have a camera.
Territory. I can't believe how many.
Look at the background. Look at that. I got a bike back there. This is Bobby's apartment. This is Bobby's. Oh, you can't even see it. Hold up. That's Bobby's apartment right there. That's Bobby's bike. That's Bobby's window. That's Bobby's futon. That's Bobby's door. That's Bobby's wall. That's Bobby's smoke detector. That's Bobby's everything. Back in the day, man. I don't know. I haven't seen that shirt in a long time, but I like that shirt. That yellow one. Damn, I used to be so much bigger. Look at that. When did I get so scrawny? I bet you I was probably 5 or 10 pounds heavier back then. We'll get there again someday. We'll get there again someday. But there's your cringe for the day, huh? There's your cringe for the day. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Donuts will fix that. I don't want to go get bigger like that, huh? Fun fact about me, I used to actually have a pretty gnarly eating disorder. I bet I had it for about 5 years. Probably about 5. I'd say it started when I got to college. When I got to college, it was a very definitive moment. And I know this has nothing to do with finance, but I'm going to talk about it because you never know. You know, maybe one of you guys has it. I started at St. Cloud State, and I was slow. I'm slow, okay? I'm kind of stupid. So I graduated college in 5 years instead of 4. And when I started at St. Cloud State, I went over there, and I was running track and cross-country Division II. And my coach, cross-country coach, his name was Peter. And Peter said to me, Trey, you're kind of big. You need to lose a little bit of weight. You'll run faster. He was right. He was. I was like 175 pounds when I went to St. Cloud State. And by the end of that first year, I think I weighed about 155. So I dropped 20 and I slimmed down and I got a little bit faster. But along the way, what I realized, what sunk in my brain is light equals fast. And it does. Light people make for really good runners. But that doesn't mean it comes without a cost, you know? Because it certainly did. I developed a pretty, I watched food, I tracked food like you wouldn't fucking believe. So when people get after me for my eating habits, I eat like this. It's because it's comfortable. I don't have to think about it. It's easy. I don't stress about gaining weight. I don't stress about losing weight. I just fucking eat. And it's really nice. But when I got to St. Cloud State, this is, let's see if I can find a pic. I was pretty beefy. I mean, in comparison to what I am now, I think there I was about 165 pounds. Here? Yeah, I was a big boy. Look how big my legs were back then. A little bit of chub hanging in my half tights too. Yeah, but from here I lost a lot of weight, man. That was the beginning. Rocking the chin strap, the Amish chin strap. From there, I just got skinnier, you know? I think this was one of the best races I ever had. And the day before, that's what I looked like. So I dropped a lot of weight, man. That's my buddy Brandon. Brandon's a cool dude. But it was necessary to get faster. And along the way, you develop some eating problems. And I'm happy to say that finally I don't have those problems anymore. So that's how it goes. I won a few races. I'd say I was like the sub-elite level, you know? At least for the colleges I ran at, or the college I ran at. I was never good enough to like be the best, but I was always sort of in the conversation right beneath the best guys in the conference in the region. I was decent. My best college race, I think my best college race was, I ran a 10K in 32 minutes and some change. After college, my best race was 10 miles in 50:45. Now I just binge eat donuts. Now I'm fat, you know? Now I'm fat and out of shape. Things change. Things change quick. TMI thinks he would smoke me in a race. Man, I know I'm not what I used to be, but let me tell you, I haven't ran. Here's a story, actually. For the Army, when you run, they have you do like a 2 mile to see how fast you can go. And I think it would have been about a year ago now. A year ago at that point, I hadn't ran for a year. And I said, fuck it. I'm just going to run and I'm going to see what happens. And I ran that 2 miles in 11:20 after not running for a year and literally vaping for a year. So you don't really lose that. You know, 12 years of experience, 12 years of running every day. You keep some of that muscle memory. TMI could beat me in anything under 200 meters. Over that, there's no fucking chance. There's just no way. There's not a chance that TMI beats me in anything over 200 meters. Impossible. Impossible. No way. Made your first profitable SPY put on that breakdown, quick 5% gain. That's what I'm talking about, Joseph. That a fucking boy. That a boy. Hey, I'm proud of you. Can we drop some dollar signs in the chat for Joseph making money on that SPY breakdown? Textbook breaks down, volume increases on the breakdown. You know it's legitimate. You know you have very solid odds of it continuing down for that trend. You make money, you know. So I'm glad that you made some freaking dollars, dude. Congrats, Joseph. Hope that you make many more in the future. I know 5% seems small. It's not a big deal, right? But 5% is 5%. Money is money. You're never gonna be mad making money. 100-meter dash, he said you would win in any distance events. Well, I don't really think that's fair then. See, I think what we'd have to do is have like a basket of events. We'd have to have like 100, a 200, a 400, a half mile, a mile. We'd have to have probably 5 events, and then whoever wins the collective most out of those 5 takes the cake. Because if it's just 100 meters, I know I'm going to lose. He's got better foot speed than I do. I was never good at sprinting. That's why I ran distance, you know? But if you get a couple events, well, there you go. What's my time? 100 meter? I don't know. Probably like 13 seconds. Not good. 13 and a half. I don't have any foot speed. But my best 400 I ever ran was 55 seconds. My best half mile I ever ran was 2 flat. My best mile I ever ran was 4:23. My best 2 mile was 9:12. My best 5K was 14:52. Best 10K was like 31:20. Best 10 mile was 50:40. So I was a distance runner. I didn't have foot speed. MOS 14 alpha. Yeah, that's a breakdown. AMC holding on to this support for now. Breakdown from here, you're going to watch it pull back to about 1475. GameStop. GameStop target broke down from this supply zone right here. You have a newly established falling resistance line. Be watching for this intraday. You've got support here. About 143.10. $3 down. 100 meter against Review Dork. All right, well, Review Pork's not going to beat me. He's a big boy. All right. Hey, listen, I'm slow, but come on now. Come on now. All right. I recognize my foot speed's bad, but that's just disrespectful. Turkey Mile? Yeah, the Turkey Mile was a blast. Riley! Yo! What's up, Riley? Fucking dude. Yo, I ran with Riley Berg in college. That's funny that you're here. That's funny you're here. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Damn. Yo, Riley's a cool dude. Drop Riley in the chat. Show Riley some love. Thanks for coming in, man. I appreciate you. Hope you've been well. Hope you've been well. Oh, thanks for the membership. I appreciate that. Spy target now that it's entered this demand zone. Watch for the bottom. Local bottom is going to be at about 372.76 or so. Volume is still high. Still a lot of strength in sellers. I'd expect it to continue downwards. Maybe look for some relief here at the bottom of this demand zone. If it doesn't get it, I think you're going to be targeting intraday low, which is 371.10. So I'm going to mark that off for you guys here really quick in case you're watching it. 371.10 would be the target if you break down beneath demand. What if Review Dork did coke first? Well, the outcome would be the same. You might just have a heart attack. That's I don't know what you're getting at. You're a goofy goober. You against Thick Boy Coors? That one I don't know. I don't know if Matt's got any foot speed. He'd probably beat me in 100, but over 200 meters, no way. Not a chance. Oh yeah, oh brother, yeah, that was those were fun. You're getting the bounce off of this previous resistance now acting as support. Touch points come from here. Origination is 12 July, 13 July, 13 July, 14 July. Breakthrough, tap, tap, tap. You want to see it fucking bounce off this, otherwise it's gonna come back again as resistance instead of support. No, I can't. 88 miles an hour. What are you smoking? Do you think any human being can run 88 miles an hour? I'm not from Halo, okay? I'm not freaking Captain America. This isn't a superhero movie. I'm a fucking mortal, okay? That voice crack was terrible. That was an awful voice crack. So bad. I'm a mortal, man, all right? I'm not immortal. I'm a mortal. I can't run 88 miles a fucking hour. I don't know what you're smoking. Come on now. Come on now. That's crazy. Y'all are wildin'. Plutonium anyway. Yeah, man. Nah, not Cheetah Boy. It's like I'm like a horse, all right? Gazelles can run really fast. Horses can run really far. I'm like a horse or a donkey. More like donkey. Call me Donkey Boy. Damn, my mustache is coming back. Look at this. If you can't see the upper lip, that's when you know you're good and fit. I don't know if Hester can actually legally short AMC or GameStop. I'd imagine that if you're in the SEC, there is a conflict of interest that would not allow you to be able to trade. But also, fucking Nancy Pelosi trades. So at this point, who fucking knows? Who cares? I bet you money that people within the SEC trade on insider information. The Fed trades on insider information. Politicians trade on insider information. Everybody trades on insider information. If you have insider information, just assume that somebody out there that has a job that gives them this information is trading on it. That is the assumption I would make. That is pretty likely. Is Hester Fester Pierce actually trading? I don't know. But just look around. Look at the track record. The Fed's been busted for it. Politicians get busted for it all the time. I'd imagine it's very possible. Yeah, only person that can't is you, man. That's it. Have you ever wondered, chat? You ever wondered how often it happens where a politician will actually push a certain narrative just to make money despite the impact it has on the economy? Like, as an example, let's say that a politician has a call investment on Tesla. And all of a sudden, they pass a bill that allows EV tax credits. What do you think would happen to Tesla? It would go up, right? Despite whatever economic effect it would have on the economy, I bet you money that politicians all the time pass bills and legislation that just pump their bags. And that to me is frustrating as hell, because in that instance with Tesla, sure, it's a good thing, right? I don't see Tesla being a hindrance to the economy, a hindrance to society. I think that Elon Musk and Tesla do good things despite all the controversial subject matters that surround their names. But I bet you money it happens the bad way too. Bet you it does. I'd bet you a lot. Get out of here, sex bots. Get out. Get out. Get. These guys never stop. They never do. Tesla is built on tax credits, so that tracks. Okay, I bet you money if we were to look into it. Maybe I should. You know what? What I'm going to do now is look up today. This is interesting. This is interesting. You guys just gave me some subject matter. Today when I get off stream, which is going to be relatively soon because I have to record a video. I have to prepare a video before I go pick up my Uncle Mike at the airport in 3:30. I've got about 2 hours to do some research. Now I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to look into Tesla, and I'm going to look into the tax credits. And I'm going to look into the politicians who passed these tax credits, and I'm going to see if they made any investments prior to these tax credits being approved, which is the backbone of what Tesla was built on. I'll also go over some other things, but I do have to hop off here so I can get ready to go get my uncle, get some material ready for you guys, do a little bit of studying, do a little bit of homework, and hopefully pass along some good information. So, chat, can you do me a favor? Do this. Drop Riley Berg, Riley space Berg. Drop Riley Berg in chat and drop Uncle Mike in chat. Those are the two names of the day. Riley, I hope you're well, bro. It was nice to see you in chat. Hope the freaking team is cooking with Crisco. I hope you guys are keeping up with the traditions and such. I know that right now you're on summer break, but it was great to freaking see you. I'll be back tomorrow for another live stream. I'm going to prepare this video, go get my uncle, and we'll be on Twitch tonight. So if you want to stop by Twitch tonight, I will be live, I would guess, sometime between 7 and 8 Eastern p.m. We'll be there. We'll do some stuff. I'll put it out in Discord. I have an anti-juicer Discord if you'd like to stop in and see what we do. I'll put an update in terms of what we plan on doing in Discord there. So that's what we've got for the stream. Oh, do me a favor on the way out. Just drop a like. Thanks for tuning in, my friends. Appreciate you all as always. Much love. Light taps.